Hello and happiest days to each of you folks. Hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day today. One of the best you've ever had in your entire life. So today on Mondays, I do reviews of older modules in Dungeons & Dragons or older things, role-playing games, also my top 70 modules and that sort of a thing. And then I also did like some recent Battletech stuff too, older war game and stuff like that too. So today I'm doing my review of BE6, the Veiled Society. Now, as a reminder, this is a BECMI series. It was collected in the B2 through B9 collection when I was a kid. When I was in 5th grade, one of my best friends and two of us were in gifted class, and so we would, after we got done with our classes, the teacher would let us sit in the back and just hang out and do whatever we wanted to do together. And so we would play some Dungeons & Dragons. We would play BECMI. He would be the Dungeon Master playing with this book, and then I would be playing with the end of it. And there are basically 3 different paths that you can do, but each of those paths ends with this. So I actually played this as a player in 5th grade as a solo. Then later on, when I started to play this as a dungeon, I've actually played it too as a dungeon master too. So I'll let it. Now, also, BECMI is very simple. B stands for basic, which this is. Those modules all begin with B's, and that sort of thing. It's all about learning the games, onboarding the new players, and that sort of thing. It's all about, but their modules tend to be dungeon delves. The E in BECMI stands for expert. Those modules will begin with an X, not E. And then you would oftentimes, those are about sort of explorations of the area around you, like the Isle of Dread and such. And then the C is for companion, and those would always be about simple things like the companions. It would take to start about mid levels of the teens and finish from about 10 levels up. And that was all about learning how to run fiefdoms of yourself, right? Your own domains, if you will, and then also rules for running combats as a general, and that sort of thing too. So as you're leveling it up, now you'll be looking for time to settle all down and run stuff. And then the last one, M, stands for master, and that's all about sort of, pushing yourself forward in terms of pushing yourself towards immortality. And that sort of thing. And the I stands for actually being an immortal, sort of like these demigods and such. All right. So this is, once again, 1986's the BE6, the Veiled Society. It's written by David Cook. He does a great job here. Cover art is by Steve, he just goes by Steve Chappel. And the interior art is by Jim Roslof. It's set in My Star. It's actually the capital of the Duchy of Karamikos. It's the finale of like I mentioned earlier, it's the finale of the thing, and all 3 adventures. I played it both there too. This introduces the capital of Karamikos, and it has a city exploration political drama. Right, it's not just dungeon delving in the city, like in Swords or something like that. But in fact, it actually does, I think, a very clever political drama. So this has 3 vying factions for different sections of the city, different things too. And these 3 factions are the Vorloi, the Radu, and the Tornescu. You need to balance them like a political drama, and then a murder will happen that throws off this, which threatens to throw off the balance of power badly. And that's where the Veiled Society will come into. You'll realize that they're actually part of that and such. Alright, so there is an obvious clue that I will use when I run this as a dungeon master, just a heads up. So this series, like I mentioned earlier, and in the B stuff too, as well as basic, it's all about low level stuff, always about dungeon explorations and so forth. But this actually defies that rule nicely. Like the Assassin's Knot earlier, we've already reviewed for you folks too. This is definitely some clever stuff. Also, with an obvious clue too that I don't use when I run up with players, and that's another thing. So this was, again, quite nicely with the political drama and the factions and all the other stuff too. So I'm giving this a 10 out for you folks. It's just great stuff. Love it lots. It's a great turn of pace. Alrighty, so there you are. Have you read this or played this or run this either as a dungeon master or as a player, both in my cases? Just let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, right? As I mentioned before, on Mondays I dedicate to these older things. On Wednesday I do have older video games. I'm currently doing the Baldur's Gate trilogy. I did Baldur's Gate 1 last week, and now put like 10 hours and restarted a new campaign. I did that for other stuff too. I actually played through Star Control 2 after doing a review of it, and did a let's play of the movies, and that sort of thing. Done like 4 episodes of it. Actually, I also played through Evil Genius 1, right? And that sort of thing. So I definitely am somebody who sometimes will get moved by my videos. And that sort of thing. This will be Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and then I'll probably do a Siege of Dragonspear expansion to finish out things. Alright. And there you go. On Friday I do top 10s. I recently did top 10 Star Trek films. Actually, there's 11 of those, and I didn't rank the 11 Star Wars shows. Star Wars films, rather, and Star Trek shows, and then I'll probably be going back to Star Trek films this week for you folks. But typically I do top 10 films of various types, or top 10s. On Saturday, I do something I call the Serial Saturday, which I dedicate to the forgotten storytelling genres of older eras and that sort of thing. And so that we dedicate to those things. Great stuff, lads. And so, for example, I watched yesterday, it's like 2.5 hours long, 12-part serial from 49 set in the Cold War. It's called The Flying. It's called. I think if I recall it correctly, it's all about some folks trying to stop some neo-Nazis that are set up in America to stop. I think it's called like Radar Agents versus the Spy King or something like that. If I recall correctly, so it's your public serial. So just to finish that yesterday, I loved that lots and that sort of thing. And there you are. So there, and then the other 3 reviews a week are older things in the genres that we cover, like science fiction, fantasy, and horror that you read, and that sort of a thing. And there you are. So if those 7 older things, like modules or older things from RPGs or war games, like Battletech today, or Wednesday video games, or the top 10s of older things, or the things the 3 videos a week, or Serial Saturday, sound like your sort of thing, then welcome to the channel, and please have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here a whole lot. Please do all the YouTube stuff. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon to be notified of my 7 videos a week if you feel frisky. And then also just let your friends know too. And share and watch. Those are the key ways to grow this channel. As you can tell from the title and the passion, all these older things too are also about the name. It's also where its name comes from too. The worst thing about new books is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was they kept us from reading the old ones. So something the news are bad, they're not. It's just they're built on the shoulders of giants, right? In our pursuit for the new book, the new novel, the new video game, right? The new movie, and those sorts of things. We have forgotten, these are things that are standing on the shoulders of giants, right? So let's check out those giants. Also, as a Dungeons and Dragons fan too, my number 1 strength is context. Right, on the positive, it's a positive psychology personality type assessment. And so I appreciate something more the more I know it. So, for example, in the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons, in Dungeon Master's Guide, in an appendix called N, Gygax lists all of his references and all the things, sources he used to come up with the video. And so when I go back and read those, like for this channel, I appreciate that more. Right, so that's your sort of thing. I think you'll enjoy it lots. All right, so there you are. Thank you so very, very much, for just taking some time out of your day and investing, right, and watching my videos, because we all have so many things that are happening, right, in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.